aboard, abroad, and overseas. How is aboard different from abroad? And how is abroad different from overseas? Let's start with the meaning of aboard, because aboard is very different from abroad and overseas. The meaning is not similar. The reason that we're talking about aboard in this video is because it looks and sounds quite similar to abroad, even though it is very different. So aboard just means on a boat, on a plane, on a bus, on a train. I'm sorry, sir, you cannot bring your dog aboard the plane. Means you cannot bring your dog on the plane. I worked aboard a cruise ship for 2 months. Means I worked on a cruise ship for 2 months. I will call you when I am aboard the train. That means I will call you when I am on the train. So aboard just means on. But we use it with a bus, a plane, a train, a ship. Abroad means in a different country. I am from the United States, but I don't live in the United States. I live abroad. Or, when was the first time that you traveled abroad? That means, when was the first time that you visited a different country? I want to work abroad. Have you ever studied abroad? Abroad just means in a different country. And you can hear that we don't say to abroad, we don't say in abroad, we don't say at abroad, we just say go abroad, study abroad, live abroad, work abroad. However, if you need to use from, you can say from abroad. Overseas. So overseas is basically the same as abroad, but you can hear that there are 2 words in it, over and seas. Seas meaning big body of water, a sea. A sea and an ocean are technically not the same thing, but today I'm going to use them the same. When I say overseas, we mean over a sea or over an ocean, over a big body of water. So, if I travel from the United States to Canada, I travel abroad, but I do not travel overseas, because the United States and Canada are connected. They share a border. There is no sea in the middle. There is no ocean in the middle. So I would not say I went overseas if I went to Canada. I would just say I went abroad. But if I went from the United States to China, yes, I have to go over a sea. So I could say overseas. I traveled overseas. The first time I went overseas, I went to China. That's not true. I've never been to China, but it's an example. And sometimes when we say overseas, we didn't actually go over a sea, and that's okay. But when you use overseas, it sounds farther. It sounds more foreign, more exotic, more exciting than abroad, abroad. Overseas, abroad. I went to Canada. I went abroad. I went to China. I went overseas. It sounds more interesting. However, we use the word abroad more often than we use overseas. And overseas does sound like you traveled over a sea, but maybe you didn't. That's okay. So yeah, 3 words. Aboard, abroad, overseas. Aboard means on a plane, on a boat, on a train, on a bus. Abroad means in a foreign country. Overseas means in a foreign country, but it sounds like you probably went over a sea. It sounds a little bit more exciting, a little bit more foreign.